Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's football show here on STV2. The main talking points on tonight's programme. Kenny McLean is leaving Aberdeen in the summer. Celtic win the Best Fans Award from FIFA. Ronaldo wins the World Player of the Year award. Yeah, just a few of the talking points in another action-packed programme. We have Alan Ruff alongside me, Peter Martin, and our bookroom guest tonight is former Aberdeen and Celtic striker Joe Miller. Great to have Joe along with us as well. There's lots of things to talk about, especially with the back page headlines from this morning's papers. Here's the Daily Record. And what's on offer there? It's still rumbling on. Pedro Caixinha, my Gers are a bunch of big game bottlers, and also the SPFL never again. This is of course reference to the debacle with lots of empty seats in that Hibs Celtic match, and they're going to speak with Celtic and Motherwell ahead of the final. As far as the Sun is concerned, there's a story there from Brendan Rodgers, basically saying the refs need to sort out Ryan Bowman, and the Gers embarrassed is the main topic of conversation with Pedro Caixinha at the forefront of it all. And the Daily Mail, shame on you, says Pedro, and Rodgers tells referees to get tough. So, there you have it. That's the back pages. Of course, over and above that, some of the news emerging today. Dundee United have confirmed now that they've parted company with Ray McKinnon. And the search now, Ruffy, is all about getting a new manager in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think obviously the importance of getting out of that division first time is there for everybody to see. They obviously thought Ray McKinnon wasn't the man to get them out of it. There's certainly enough candidates going about. Obviously John Hughes been spoke about, Jim McIntyre, Billy Dodds, big connection at Dundee United up there. That might be something that the fans will take to, but it'd be interesting to see what other candidates are offering themselves to that job.
Yep, OK, we'll keep a close eye on that to see who eventually gets the hot seat at Tannadice. One thing I would say, Joe, it's not too late at this point for somebody to come in and make that positive push towards winning that division.
No, they've got plenty of time. I don't think we've reached the halfway point yet, so I think there's plenty of time to turn things around. And it's all about just getting some results, and if they've got to get them playing ugly football, then you know that's the way to go. But somebody will need to come in with a fresh impetus and lift the whole dressing room, lift the fans as well. So it's got to be somebody important that maybe have a connection with the club as well.
Not too much time to go before the Edinburgh Derby kicks off, and we'll reflect on that on tomorrow night's programme. Here's a look at the fixtures for the Tuesday and the Wednesday. Hamilton Partick Thistle, Hibs against Hearts, going to be a cracking match at Easter Road. St Johnstone against Ross County, and then tomorrow it's the two top teams slugging it out at Pittodrie. Aberdeen against Celtic, it's Dundee, Motherwell, and Rangers against Kilmarnock. And we're going to talk about those games in the next couple of minutes. Just a little footnote, another match that's kicking off shortly. Good luck to Scotland's women who are in action in Paisley tonight against Albania, the second of that double header. Some of the other news just ahead of Aberdeen against Celtic is that Celtic have won the Best Fans Award at the FIFA ceremony, and this is basically for their tribute to the Lisbon Lions, 50 years since they won the European Cup in 1967. So, 60 matches unbeaten, top of the Premiership, into the League Cup final, and then they roll that out as well, Ruffy. It's been a good week for them.
Yeah, we've certainly seen all the displays, but that one was something special. Yeah, and I think all around the world, I think a lot of fans, pride themselves on coming up with the ideas to do these kind of things, and I think Celtic have always been a step ahead. Some of the stuff at the stadiums is fantastic to see. And I think they fully deserve the award. Yeah,
and switching and staying with Celtic, but switching to another story, Celtic and Motherwell will have talks with the SPFL just to avoid empty seats at the final next month, Joe. It's something that cost, I think, all the clubs involved in the League Cup, somewhere in the region of £250,000, because there were a lot of empty seats at the Hibs Celtic match.
Yeah, well, I think it was just down to the Hibs supporters feeling to snap up the tickets, but I think there should be a time limit so that it gives the opportunity to pass on a few sections to the opposition. So you know Celtic are a great attendance, a home and away record, so you know they carry a great support. So I don't see any reason why they shouldn't offload the extra tickets are there, because they'll be sold up, and you know they'll be snapped up, should I say? But you know, it was disappointing to see the empty stands there at the weekend, but you know, I hope they rectify that before the final.
Yeah, I mean, what's the best process here? Quickly give Motherwell half the allocation and then say, OK, you have a time limit to sell it, and then hand it back. Is that the best way?
It's so simple, Peter. I don't know what happened at Hibs. I honestly don't, and I haven't heard anything from Hibs coming out there. It is simple. You obviously sell the bulk of your tickets and then you see it tapering off. And then if there's a time, whether it's 2 weeks, 3 weeks, before it, you just say that's the date, hand your tickets back and we'll give it to the other support, because we don't want to get to a cup final and the stadium's like it was at the weekend.
Is there any argument for saying that Celtic should get a bigger proportion to start with, or should it be we start on a level playing field here?
No, I think you should just think of the fans and give them every opportunity. You know, I don't think there is as many Motherwell fans anyway, so I don't see any reason why they shouldn't give probably 3/4 of the stadium to the Celtic fans, because they'll snap them up.
Yep, OK, it's open to debate at Peter and Ruffy on Twitter, facebook.com/Peter and Ruffy as well, if you want to give us your thoughts on that in the League Cup final. So, to Aberdeen Celtic, Pittodrie, it'll be absolutely bouncing. This one is a mouth-watering match between the two top sides. Only difference between them, Celtic have a better goal difference. Now, the blow for Aberdeen, of course, is that Derek McInnes today revealed that Kenny McLean looks as if he'll be off in the summer.
Unfortunately, Kenny McLean has indicated he's going to leave at the end of the season, and I'm totally fine with that. Disappointed naturally, but grateful at the same time that Kenny and his agent have been honest enough to say that would be their intention. And you know, when we signed Kenny, the part of the sale was and pitch towards him coming here was to develop himself into a full Scottish internationalist and be part of a successful team here and a period here. And you know, I think he's done that, and he's been part of a strong team. We want him to go out on a high with us, hopefully.
I like Derek's attitude to it. Kenny McLean, he's a better player now and a crucial player there, but you know, he obviously sees his future elsewhere. Some would suggest, you know, 2 and 2 = 4 here on this one. He'll be off to Ibrox.
I know, you know, Derek will be a wee bit disappointed, but it's good to see the honesty there for both parties working together. You know, obviously the player himself and the agent are probably want to do what's best for him, and if they get that opportunity to move on and make some more money and things like that, then you know, and develop his career a wee bit more, then you know, you can do that. But you know, all credit to Aberdeen, they've gave him a great platform there. He's not let them down. Because he's played well, he's been a crucial part of the side there as well with some of his performances, and you know, it's good to see the honesty coming from both sets.
Yep. Well, Aberdeen's last win against Celtic at Pittodrie was quite a bit of time ago, Ruffy. The Aberdeen fans will remember it. We're going to test their memory shortly, but they're going to have to be at the top of their game for this one. Derek McInnes himself says that they've got a real battle on their hands to try and counter what Celtic have.
They certainly, as a team, as I said to you before, have got the squad to cope with injuries and the squad to cope with the schedule. They've got the squad that can that have got most goals in them as well, and they're probably in a team, any team that Brendan will pick tomorrow will have real attacking threats in it. So they've got the kind of answers most of the time. What we've got to do now is try and find a way to nullify their threats for a lot of the game, you know, and it's difficult to contain that. But also be confident enough with our work. You know, we want to play our game as well. We're used to winning at Pittodrie. We've been used to winning in the league this season, and we want that to continue.
Yep, and I always feel that you've got to have 3 or 4 options in your side to try and be able to not only thwart Celtic but try and counter them with their own threat.
Yeah, I think this is the time when I think the Aberdeen supporters will believe that they will get the upper hand in Celtic. I think they're on a good run, you know, that they're fit. You know, they've not had the same exertions that Celtic have had in the last week. I think that's the only thing that's going against Celtic just now is maybe tiredness, but we know that they've got a massive pool to call on, as they showed at the weekend. I thought the first half in Saturday Celtic didn't look that jaded. They just looked off the pace a wee bit, the way they're usually zipping it about. And Aberdeen will see that this is a chance. A home game, you know, it's got to go sometime. But we've been saying that for what, over a year now. And I think it's up to Aberdeen. You know, I think if Aberdeen can be tight defensively, as what they've proved that they have been in the last 2 or 3 weeks, they might get something out of the game. But generally, you know, this is the big game when these teams don't turn up. You know, this is when they let themselves down and Celtic win the games. That's why they are where they are now.
Okay, we're going to hear from the Celtic camp after the break. Brendan Rodgers and Detrick Boyata will give us their thoughts on the match-up at Pittodrie. We'll also switch our attention to the match between Rangers and Kilmarnock. A fair bit of consternation over the last 24 hours and beyond following that defeat to Motherwell. We'll hear from Pedro Caixinha as well. Here's a little taster. See if you can get the answer to this question. Yep, remember that game well. Ruffy and Mixu-Patalainen, and of course Russell Latapi was absolutely unbelievable that night, unplayable.
Yep, it was a good era for Hibs, good players, you know, a lot of them still to go on to better things, but the couple of years there that they were there, they were superb.
Okay, Aberdeen against Celtic is what we've been talking about over the last few minutes. The Aberdeen camp will be feeling confident, hoping they can finally end Celtic's long unbeaten domestic record. And of course, Brendan Rodgers comes up against Derek McInnes, the managers that have been testing themselves head to head over last season and of course this season. It's looking tighter, and the Celtic manager was full of praise for his counterpart.
Derek I've known as a very good manager, but only seen it from the outset that they were the closest challenger to Celtic. And then last season in our games that we played 6 times, so I was able to get a good look and see the commitment and the qualities in their team. And yeah, I think he's done an outstanding job. You know, he doesn't have any training facilities. You know, he's having to work with that handicap in terms of not having that, which, you know, for a professional club you need to have. You need to have your own training facilities in order to maximise the investment that your club makes in talent and to maximise what you can give the players. You know, so I think everything taken into it, I think he's done an exceptional job there.
It's just magic, Joe, because what they do is they take that little clip and then show it up in Aberdeen and hope that the council and everybody else who seem to be blocking this move are listening. You know, I mean, it's a brilliant bit of PR from Brendan Rodgers for Aberdeen, isn't it?
You know, sometimes you think Derek's phoned him to say that. You know, but you know, to be fair, I've been up there, and they're a club that deserves a good training facility. I mean, over the years when I was there, we were moving to various parts, and even the army barracks, we trained there at the, you know, the assault courses and things like that near there. So it was, you know, it wasn't, you know, a big problem. At least we had somewhere to train. But you know, as Brendan says, you would have things would be much more better now with the stature of professional clubs providing top-class training facilities.
Yep, absolutely. Well, I mean, Celtic were able to overcome Hibs at the weekend in the League Cup semi-final. They seem to be able to not only call on their starting 11, but the additional players they have in their squad. But they're coming up against an Aberdeen side with their own threat, and Brendan Rodgers is well aware of the qualities they have at their disposal.
You know, they've still got good players. Kenny McLean's a good player. You know, the boy Shinnie, wherever he plays, either at full-back or in midfield, does an excellent job. Of course, Ryan will be a miss because he's been a real catalyst for them, and they get some good young players that's in the team. So yeah, we don't underestimate going to Pittodrie. In my time, I've been up there twice. Has been difficult games for us, and so we'll expect exactly the same. A very committed team that have started the season well in terms of their results, and they'll want to do well at home.
Yeah, I wonder, do players actually talk about the record if you were on an unbeaten run? Is it something that gets discussed?
No, I don't think so. I think they're just keen to get out and win the next match, and that's the way they take it. And it's a great attitude to have because, you know, the talk now is we can do a double back-to-back unbeaten run, you know, so that's small added pressure, but I think their only focus is the next game and picking up 3 points. Going into this game, they know it's going to be difficult. Aberdeen are the closest rivals that they'll have, and you know, and it'll be like a game of chess where I think, you know, as the game goes on, what sort of moves can the manager make to try and to win the match, and you've got both sets of managers who are, you know, tactically aware here, so that's what makes it a good game.
Yeah, and of course, Dedrick Bayata backing up exactly what Joe has mentioned there. The 60 games undefeated, but there's no chat about that among the players.
I'm not going to lie to you, we don't speak about that because, I mean, we know it's a great achievement, but as I've said before, we're actually looking forward to games, but one game at a time. So we're not even talking about the run. Obviously, we know we are undefeated, and it's a great stage for us, and it's definitely something that we want to defend. But looking forward to the game, we're not sitting down and telling ourselves, okay, we just want to stay undefeated and keep the record going. We just we look at the game ahead of us, and we know what we have to do to win the game, and we just stay focused to play the game as we prepared, as the managers prepared it. But we're not talking about this.
Okay, that's Aberdeen against Celtic. The other match, which is, there's two matches taking place, but one that's really going to have a lot of focus of attention is Rangers against Kilmarnock. Of course, Pedro Caixinha has laid into some of his players. What reaction will come out of that? Only time will tell. He's under a lot of pressure. Graham Souness was in Glasgow today, and we got the thoughts of the former Rangers manager who reacted to Pedro Caixinha slaughtering his players, and he said there's that fine balancing act that the manager has to be very careful in case they turn against him.
Well, I think you have to be very careful that you don't cross the line and you lose them. But I've been there. You get so frustrated by sort of going down one road, which might be a nice guy. I'm not sure if I ever went totally down that road, but you know, a nice guy, and then you're frustrated because they're not reacting to that, and then you go the other way. And if you go too much the other way, then you do lose them.
Yeah, I mean, that's the key to this, Joe. I'm wondering what reaction the Rangers players are about to give the manager, because, I mean, he slaughtered them after this game because of the way they were bullied by Motherwell. Yeah, and this is the thing, if you've got a team that's been playing well and and they've been top of their game and they slip up, you can maybe, and just if they slip up that once and they get slaughtered, the reaction sometimes is a positive one. But if they've not been playing well for most of the season and you slaughter them, that's where as Graham Souness was pointing out, you could lose them. There is that fine line. You've got to find the balance. And you've also got to be careful with what you say and even pointing to individuals. But I think it should have been conducted behind closed doors and still try to solve the problem that way. But he's probably trying to let the fans know that this is the way he's going about it, and he's trying to this is a statement he's making in the dressing room, and he wants a performance, and he's trying to drag it out of them. Yeah, the problem with that, Ruffy, is he's already ostracised one of the players who is, a fan's favourite in Kenny Miller. The last thing he needs is 2 or 3 others joining the camp.
Well, that's the problem you've got when you come out with that kind of statement. You're saying collectively, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of the players will be, not a lot of them, but some of them will be saying, well, not me. No. I wasn't that bad. You're talking about me, sort of a thing. And that's the problem you've got when you've got players who think they've done okay, and they're brought into the bracket of, you're one of the ones I'm talking about. But it's all up to the individual and how they actually accept the criticism and get on with it, and try and, rectify things. He's very, very fortunate he's got a home game against Kilmarnock. If it had been, obviously, the Hearts at the weekend, if it had been a couple of hard games coming up, then the pressure would be right on, because, as you were saying the other day, we've said it all along, it's just a catalogue of pressure for him at every game he comes along, and certainly Kilmarnock at home is another must-win game. But you know, I think he's fortunate he's got a home game coming up.
Yep, and of course he's got to try and react to a club with a new manager in Steve Clarke. The Kelly boss has already said he's not going to complicate his message to the Kelly players just now. There'll be no dramatic changes, but as to what they're going to do against Rangers, Pedro Caixinha is a little uncertain about that.
I cannot know what expect from them. I mean, they never play under Steve. Steve was on the stand on the last match. Maybe we expect more or less the same as they perform on the last match, with adding the value of having a new manager and then one to show. But I'm much more focused what is going to be the reaction from our players. And as I told you, if I had the same 11 that starts the game available, I will start it. So I'm almost once again against Kilmarnock, giving the first 11 that is going to start. And I have no problem with that.
Okay, he's given him the starting 11 again, Joe. He's done that before. In this game, I think the biggest problem is if it doesn't go quickly right. You know, Ruffy talked about 38,000 fans all singing for Rangers if it was going well, and then the flip side is if it doesn't go well, they're on your back. I think he's in for a similar situation with a lot of disgruntled Rangers supporters now.
I think what it comes down to is the bottom line is performance, and he needs to get a performance, get a result. They've not had that in recent weeks, and you know, going out to the cup at the weekend there didn't help matters, and that's didn't help his situation. But he's looking to get a reaction. But the only reaction that you can talk all day to the newspapers, to the TV, radio. You know, the players are the most important people here, and you need to get a reaction from them, and you need to get a performance. That's all he needs to worry about. Yeah,
here's the Premiership table, how it stands at the moment. Celtic and Aberdeen neck and neck. Rangers with a 1 point advantage over Motherwell and Hearts, and then St Johnstone. So as I look at you, Ruffy, you mentioned to me 3 strikes and he's out. If this one doesn't go according to plan, I'm looking at you now. I'm looking at your face. I'm waiting to see exactly what you're going to say. Hopefully the camera's going to be on you. Yep, there it is. Here we are. We're finally there.
I think if he was tomorrow night's game against Kilmarnock would be a defeat, that would be a 3rd strike. I think it would be interesting to see what the crowd is tomorrow night after the semi-final. And certainly if Kilmarnock were to beat Rangers at home, I don't think he'd be able to talk himself out of that one.
Okay.
But on the other thing.
What? Hey, no.
If Aberdeen or Celtic win the game and Rangers beat Kilmarnock, they're only 3 points from one of these 2 teams.
Yeah. Join us after the break. You would never have got that, Ruffy. No chance. Yeah,
no
Joe,
chance.
no chance for you either.
I was thinking about it.
No.
I remember him when he first just came up, didn't he?
Yeah.
That was one of his first games.
Yeah. Yeah, you thought about it, but you
thought about it, couldn't get his name.
Yeah, sure, Joe, sure. So let's crack on. Before I get your predictions for the games tomorrow night, Dundee against Motherwell. I don't think, or have they been given enough praise for what they achieved against Rangers, Motherwell, Ruffy, in light of the moans and groans about the physicality, the pictures of the broken nose, the red cards that were not shown?
No, I think if you're a Motherwell manager, a Motherwell player, you'll be saying you haven't been given enough credit. Obviously, every time we pick up a paper, that's all we're talking about was the physical side of the game. But there was a lot of good football in that game, you know, and Motherwell were part of that. And they scored, okay, one of the goals was a mistake, but the other goal was a quality goal. So no, I would think if the Motherwell manager was to come out and have a wee word or two to everybody, he would feel justified in doing it.
Well, I don't think he'll miss the target of Brendan Rodgers on this one. He's already said he doesn't feel as if Ryan Bowman is a dirty player, because Brendan Rodgers has said the referees need to get tough with the likes of Ryan Bowman for some of the challenges, Joe. Ryan Bowman, Stephen Robinson says, is distraught because he doesn't feel as if he's a a dirty player.
No, I know, but listen, I think, Motherwell, they deserve credit because they've had their own problems over the past couple of seasons. The manager deserves credit, but he's seen a side to try and change things. And if his team's got to get physical, he's told them to get physical. So if that's working for him, then great. He's happy with that. But, managers, other managers, opposition managers will come away with comments to see if they can influence the referee or, just pointing out things that happened in the game. And, there were a few bad challenges in the match, but I don't think Motherwell are getting enough credit for what they did. I think everybody's jumping on the bag how bad Rangers were, but I don't think Rangers had anything to offer. I think Motherwell were a far better side on the day.
Yeah, I didn't think they played great football, Ruffy. I thought they stuck to the game plan that Joe's mentioning, but over and above that, this is Stephen Robinson, vehemently defending Ryan Bowman for the accusation of being a dirty player.
Ryan Bowman is a boy who's come from non-league. He's fighting his way in the game. He's absolutely distraught this morning with certain comments. But, what he is a boy that's played 46 games up in Scotland and been booked 3 times. So it doesn't suggest to me that he's exactly dirty, is he? If we compare other strikers in the league who've been booked twice as much over the same time frame, over a 5-year span in Bowie's career, he's been booked, I believe, 9 times. So that does not suggest that he's a dirty player.
Yeah, I don't think he's a dirty player, Ruffy, to be honest with you. And I don't think either of us in a chat have actually thought he's a dirty player.
No, I don't think so. I think he was unfortunate that a lot of strikers go up with their elbows. I think Chris Sutton was a big player getting up, and centre-halves aren't like angels, centre-halves dish it out, and then good centre-halves will say, I'll get what you give me, and it's a battle. But
I think the key is it's intent, Ruffy. Is the intent? The referee has to take action and say, okay, he's gone up after I've booked him already. He's gone up again with his elbows. So it's the referee's prerogative to take the action. But if the suggestion is that the intent is that he's just running about like a dirty player, I don't see that.
The intent to me is somebody going up and giving it that, he's going up, and his arms are out. You don't know who you're going to hit, and the centre half's going to be in behind you. And if it's a fallen arm or whatever, that's part and parcel of the game. I just think being highlighted, and that highlight could get that boy missing the cup final.
I don't entirely think.
Have a look at it.
If it's Brendan Rodgers' comments, I don't think he's actually highlighting the Motherwell players, just the Motherwell players. I think he's also highlighting maybe some of the Rangers players and their reaction after that. You had the players kicking out after, maybe they've come into contact when they were lashing out and you seen the flick out.
You're talking about Alves.
Alves, yeah. So I think he was maybe bringing that into the equation. I don't think it was entirely just down to the Motherwell players and the physicality there.
I think he singled them out.
He singled them out because of the tackle and
I don't agree with him on it.
No, I don't agree. I don't even know why Brendan Rodgers is getting involved with it at all.
Well, because you're talking about they're going to face them with a similar situation in the final.
It doesn't matter.
But that's just highlighting. If you know it's going to happen, why are you bringing it out in the open? Why not just keep it to yourself?
He's bringing it out in the open so he can mark the referee's card. It's all a bit of your manager's mind games here. If I suggest it to the referee, maybe
that's part of the game as well, though. You've got to protect your team, and highlight things that maybe never were highlighted before.
I don't have a problem with Motherwell looking at the other team and saying, like, this is the way we're going to beat them. We're going to let them know they're in a game, and not by half them in two, just going into challenges and letting people know. Just letting people know that if they don't like it.
Yeah, absolutely, Ruffy. To be honest with you, Stephen Robinson, talking about Ryan Bowman, now he's talking about the entire team. He doesn't feel as if they've got a record as a dirty side.
Dealing the facts. As a team, we've got 7 teams that have committed more fouls than us. 7 teams in the league have committed more fouls than us, so we're not a dirty team. If we compare us to Rangers, I'm comparing us to Rangers because we played them. We're very close in the league. In 9 games, we've committed 115 fouls, they've committed 112. So I don't think we're a dirty side. We're a side that plays as best we can to the abilities we have, and we run hard and we battle hard, and then we try and play football as well. We scored in every game, bar the Aberdeen second game, so we're doing okay.
Right, okay, let me tell you how this works, Ruffy. Alan Burrows and Stephen Robinson sit in a wee room and they look at the papers and he says, listen, they're going to say you're a dirty side, so let's get the stats out here. There you are. Back it up with this just to show them, and full marks to them, because, you know, we were talking about Motherwell ahead of the semi-final, not about that they're actually going to, you know, kick Rangers off the park. We were talking about a side who had won 6 out of 8, lost 1, and were sitting 4th in the table. All of it was not about they were going to kick a team off the park.
Yeah, exactly. No, they went into that semi-final with a lot of credit with the way that they've been playing. I mean, everybody was talking about the way they beat Aberdeen. Okay, they beat Aberdeen because they were solid. And what you do is you identify. I keep going back. I don't mean like halving people in two. Yeah. You look at Morales. You look at Pena. You look at the boy who ended up with a bloody nose.
Cardozo.
They don't want to be in a battle. They don't want to be in a tussle. They don't want to be sitting about playing wee passes. And if you stop the three of them playing to the best of their ability, that's you on the right road, and then you start playing football.
Yeah, it's funny, the Rangers as a champions team, when I look back at some of the teams that Rangers had winning league titles, you know, if that would have happened, John Brown was playing here, I said, bring it on.
But
let's go.
They're a long way from that now. A long, long way from that now. But I think the Motherwell side, the manager included, are looking for a bit of credit for what they've done. You're talking about a team that's been, you know, they've been down at the bottom of the table over the past few seasons, sometimes going to the wire, whether they were going to stay in the league or not. But he's managed to get the team, you know, playing in a physical manner that's getting them results. So he's doing his job. He's turned the corner. I think all credit should go to him. And maybe that's what the point is here, that he's not getting enough credit for what he's doing. But I applaud him for what he's doing.
Yep, and of course they're on a high at the moment. And next up for Stephen Robinson, Dundee.
Dundee's a massive game for us. We went to watch them on Saturday v Partick. I was very impressed with them. I thought they played a decent style of football, and you know they played 3 at the back. So you know Neil's starting to turn it round there as well. So we're well aware this is a tough game, and there'll be no hangover from us. Okay,
I have a. What is it, Ruffy?
I thought he was going to say we really need to get in about them
as well.
We need to be physical.
Yeah, we need to half them in two, but not hurt them. Listen, they're up again. I mean, Neil McCann is in the embryonic stages of his leadership of Dundee. He's watched his side being mugged at the weekend, Ruffy. He'll be looking for a response as well. So no quarter given.
I don't see if I've seen such a dejected manager for a long time after that interview. I mean, anyway, you could see it was really hurting. I mean, quite rightly so. I mean, we've all been in the game, and to lose a game like that is difficult to get your head round, and the frustration on that interview that we had with him was there for everybody to see. So, I mean, his players will have got a message as well that they won't want that to happen again.
Yeah, Joe, if he's looking back and he showed the players that 90 minutes again, he'll be looking saying, how did we lose that game?
I think he has shown them. I think that'll be probably the first thing he's done on Monday morning, because it should fire them up. They'll be shaking their heads, scratching their heads. Not too much, but
you don't want to fight, Joe. You know, don't want people to get physical, Joe. That's not part of the game. Okay, listen. Before we hit the break, I'm being facetious. Before we hit the break, Aberdeen against Celtic. Who's winning it, Joe? Give me your prediction.
Celtic, 2-0.
Celtic 2-1.
Okay, Rangers against Kilmarnock, Ruffy.
Rangers 2-0.
Kilmarnock 1-0.
Kilmarnock 1-0. Okay, a difference of opinion from you two there. And Motherwell against Dundee.
1-0 Motherwell.
2-1 Motherwell.
Okay, what, a free-flowing football game or a real battle?
A physical game.
Yeah, okay. I'm happy with that, Joe. Look at your face. Okay, you can give us your thoughts on it at Peter and Ruffy on Twitter. Facebook.com/Peter and Ruffy. After the break, we're going to talk about the people who like football played the proper way. We'll talk about the football purists, the elite of football at the FIFA Awards, where Ronaldo won the Player of the Year for the 5th time, but he wants to win 7. There you are. Who would bet against him? Yeah, well done, Joe. You clearly had a good grasp of that. They don't play each other that often, but you were quite a bit away there, Ruffy. Your 23 or 24 was, you know, he would have been prolific against Arsenal.
Yeah, I thought he was. Obviously not that much.
Yeah, absolutely. Look at Joe with that superior look in his face, Ruffy. He'll be getting an elbow shortly. What about the FIFPro, the World Awards? No surprise, Ronaldo picks up the award again. I mean, I have to say, you know, the perception is that Messi's the greatest player of this period, but you'd be hard pressed for a lot of people now he's switching, because he's won it 5 times, the Ballon d'Or as well. It's a good argument for him being the greatest at this point.
Oh, there is. I mean, it's every season the two of them they perform to their highest level, and there's a fine line there. So it must be very hard for them. I don't know how they judge that.
Yeah,
I don't know how they judge that.
Well, I think managers and players all get the selection, but I mean, it's hard. I think it's easier to judge it, Ruffy, because Messi had an injury at one point, and Ronaldo was still firing on all cylinders. And Real Madrid win the Champions League.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The Champions League, he's the focal point there. He's the guy who scores the winning goals. And hat tricks and spectacular goals. I think the only thing that goes against him is his temperament and the way people see him as. Like some people we know think he goes down too early in challenges and that. But I think you've got to dismiss that. He's just a wonderful player. He's just a fantastic player.
Bring their stats into it. Do the stats come into the?
Well, I think every player and manager looks over the course of the season, looks at the stats.
It's not just a favouritism thing. I like Ronaldo better.
I can't see it that way, Joe. I think a lot of people just look and think, what have they achieved over the season? Have they been the catalyst for the team? The team that they're playing for achieving success. And with Ronaldo, it's a resounding yes, Ruffy.
Is it club football or international football as well? Is it just club?
I think it's club
If it's
football.
International football thrown in as well, he single-handedly takes Portugal to everything.
Yeah.
And the winner of everything. But if it isn't, I think he's still done enough at club level. I think he's just one of these players you want to see.
I think he's a shining example to people about hard work, determination, not only to reach the highest level, but to try and maintain it.
Yeah, I know. He's got that self-confidence there that takes him there too. He knows he's good, and he tells the world he's good.
Yeah.
But I still think Messi is.
Yeah, still does it for you?
Oh, definitely.
I'll tell you what is good about it, Ruffy, and sometimes I think there's a misconception that there's a wee bit of needle between them. The two of them seem to get on well.
That wouldn't be surprised me. They're both of them at the top of their game. I think they appreciate what each other do in the games. It'd be interesting to see two of them on the one side, and see how they got on there.
That would be
absolutely
unbelievable. This is the FIFPro World 11 that was selected at the awards ceremony in London last night. Buffon in goal, that back four: Alves, Bonucci, Ramos and Marcelo. Midfield 3: Modric, Kroos and Iniesta, who's just genius. Neymar, Ronaldo and Messi. That's some team, isn't it, Joe? You happy with it? Is there anybody missing there?
Me?
Yeah, well, absolutely. But they've gone for people with a good touch on both feet, Joe, and they track back, Ruffy, which just rules Joe out.
Rules me out
then. I'm just happy Buffon's in it. He's last year.
You're a big Buffon fan, aren't you? Is it because of your own hair, or is it just because you like him as a
anybody
keeper?
40 years of age and been to so many World Cups and still playing international football and club. We're a bit surprised the Rangers boy get in. Full-backs a bit.
Yeah, Iniesta's a player for me as well.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, Joe. He's just magnificent, isn't he? Well, I did blank him. What did you say?
I just said I'm surprised the Rangers boy get in at full-back.
I had to custard pie you. Because you're going to get us in trouble. Custard pie. I'm glad you came in with this Iniesta, Joe, because he's at the noise up. Remember, it's at Alan Ruff on Twitter if you want to get to him with that one. Lieke Mertens of Barcelona won the best female player. Zinedine Zidane, the best coach. Now, strangely enough, I don't think maybe he's been given enough credit, because you know what Real Madrid are like. Everybody sometimes says, well, you're expected to when you've got a lot of money.
Yeah, he's got probably got the best squad of players to pick on. But you know, I think that transition he's made, you know, coming from the coaching staff, you know, I think he was actually, you know, an ambassador into the coaching staff, and so his transition's been brilliant.
Yep, absolutely, and well done to the Netherlands, Serena Wiegman, for winning the best female coach. And Arsenal's Olivier Giroud got the Puskas Award for the best goal. It was a cracking goal, even although there was, you know, lots of Celtic fans steaming in for Dembele up at Perth. But
the passing one,
fantastic, isn't it?
But even did somebody not do it before Giroud? A similar goal?
Yeah, Mkhitaryan.
But yeah. So I think you take your choice, but it's if they actually meant what they were doing, it's just unbelievable.
I'll tell you, it was fantastic. There was a wee bit of skullduggery because obviously they say here's how certain people voted, because your votes, you know, everybody can see the way you voted in it. And former Scotland head coach Gordon Strachan voted for 3 stars who were pretty small: Luka Modric, N'Golo Kante, and Lionel Messi, which is fine. I don't know what it proves. You know, I don't know why they were actually highlighting that, because at the end of the day, I think Gordon was talking about the physicality of what we've got in the back line, Ruffy. You know.
Yeah, exactly. You know that it's amazing in this day and age now that these players. I mean, the height of them, they have so much ability, and they're just a joy to watch.
Yeah. If you think about, if you look back over the years and the players that we think are the best players in the world of all time, they're all small players. I mean, Maradona was small. You had George Best, Jimmy Johnson, you know, all small, skillful players. These are but I'm not surprised they came away with that comment.
Yeah, and of course, just to cap it all off, I think for the Celtic fans to see the chairman going up, Ian Bankier, and John Paul Taylor picking up the best fans for the display was a special moment. Of course, a special moment for you at the weekend, Joe. You were back with practically 30 years of former Celtic players and managers for a great little night for Angie, who is the lady who washes the kit and everything. She's seen some players in her day. Yep,
it's a great tribute to her, and she's worked tirelessly for 30 years at the club. And she had a great relationship with every single player. You know, even Neely Moken bringing her in and around about the centenary year, and she's been there ever since. And it was great that so many players turned up for her. But it was a great night, and yourself performing on the night was superb, and you know, I think everybody went home happy.
Yeah, nice to see Brendan Rodgers handing over a bouquet of flowers for her, and of course special night, and lots of people. I think I can remember. I think the lady called Teenie at Rangers. So many of the Rangers, Sally McCoy, all them talking about you know, the service she provided. There's people at Motherwell and Hibs, and the backroom teams that are crucial for everybody.
They're unsung heroes, you know, and every club has them.
Yeah,
but she was a very special lady, and on the night she was very humble, but she wasn't afraid to tell you off at times.
Yeah, absolutely. We just put up a still photograph there of Angie because she could swear at international level for Scotland. So it's the first time we caught her without her swearing at us all, Ruffy, which was great. Well done to all the players who came back together and the managers as well. Listen, a couple of things I want to get your thoughts on, lads, before we go. The Premier League's Big Six have lost in their battle to try and get a bigger share of the $1 billion overseas TV revenue that, you know, the Premier League in England had secured a deal to bring in extra revenue. Now, you might think to yourself, well, so what? They failed in that bid. I think they realised when they were going to go to a vote they weren't going to get anywhere with it. But there's a deeper problem. It just highlights the greed of big clubs. I'm already sickened with Karl-Heinz Rummenigge and what he wanted to do with the elite clubs getting in without even having to qualify for certain games. This, I think, is going down the road where eventually there will be a collapse.
Yeah, I think so. I think the people in charge need to get their head round it. It's not all about the big clubs. I mean, every club needs to survive. You know, players need to survive. It's not just the millionaire players. There's players are way down the scale who aren't earning anywhere near what they're getting, and they need a living as well. So yeah, I think they have to be realistic in everything that they're going for.
Yep, it's an old Gordon Gekko move from the top 6 clubs, trying to get more of the pie. One final thing, I mean, here's the top 5 so far for the Everton job. Quite a few people have, suggested they're interested. Phil Neville's in there, David Moyes, Thomas Tuchel, Sean Dyche, and David Unsworth, who's in the backroom staff there, says he'd like to be considered for the job. But Ryan Giggs has also thrown his name into the hat. This is a good job to get, the Everton job.
I think it's a fantastic job, but I'm very surprised that Ronald Koeman's actually been removed. I know the results haven't went from, but I don't think he's been given enough time. But he's spent a lot of money.
They were poor to watch, Joe.
They were poor to watch, but I was actually shocked at some of the performances they've had.
Yeah.
I'm surprised more about that. I'm not surprised that he was removed because of it.
Yeah.
But
I don't think they'll go back for David Moyes. I don't think David Moyes will go back, Ruffy. I think they're looking elsewhere.
Yeah, well, sometimes the fans want a new name, they want a new face walking through the door. Although I think Davey got on particularly well with the supporters. It wouldn't be a bad thing, but it depends on what he wants.
Yep, okay. Thank you very much to Joe Miller for coming on as our bookroom guest, looking ahead to Aberdeen against Celtic. Tomorrow on the programme we'll look back over Motherwell Dundee, Rangers Killie and Aberdeen against Celtic. We are away. We'll be back tomorrow at 7:30. Good night.